Marriage is a great gift. I think it's magnificent, and I think the gay and lesbian community have an enormous amount to give and to teach about opening of the heart to genuine partnering and relationship and to growth. And there's bound to be an enormous amount of fear around that.
Vermont is known for its natural beauty and its quaint villages. But more than these, Vermont is known for its people. A sturdy, independent people who prize the rights of the individual above all else. Here, differences are respected and uniqueness is prized. Lesbian and gay people abide throughout the heart of Vermont, living, loving, working, making homes and creating families. These people are your neighbors.
Moved to Vermont about 20 years ago, and Janice and I have lived together for 13 years.
I've lived in Vermont all my life. I work for GE in Rutland.
My name is Pete, and I'm a graduate student in clinical psychology here in Burlington at the University of Vermont.
My name's Scott. I'm Canadian, and I've been in the Canadian military for going on 8 years.
And I got introduced to Scott, and right after we got introduced, actually the moment we got introduced, it was sort of love at first sight.
My parents are from Vermont.
I'm from Vermont, have been all of my life, born and raised here. Winooski, that is.
12 years ago, we met 12 years ago, and we've been together ever since.
Well, I think we're a stereotypical old couple. We live here on the farm that I grew up on. We raise chickens and peacocks and pheasants and horses and dogs and cats.
But I think we're both also very invested in the community.
We celebrate October of '72. Yeah. So that's 23 plus years. Well, I'm a typical Vermont farm family, one of 12 kids.
We met at the swimming hole, just up the road.
We had 4 dates and decided we had to spend the rest of our lives together, and that was 10 years ago.
We know a lesbian couple that is just our age, and they do all of the same kind of things that we do. They entertain and they shop and they go on vacation and they have their lives and they work and they pay their taxes and they are just all around good citizens. They volunteer and they're very helpful people in every way. And for them to be denied the privilege of just, being legally married is just unfair in our society. We need to change that. We need to make some changes along this line.
Mm-hmm. Everything we have jointly, and that's pretty much been the way it's been since the beginning. We have one bank account, we have one checking account, we have one home, and everything is co-owned, and our families are meshed.
Well, I have a daughter and a granddaughter. And I can't see us any different than any other family. In all my family, I come from a family, there's 9 of us. And we're accepted as a couple.
We did the nurturing parenting course with the South Burlington Family Centers. And they were really nervous about, they've never had a lesbian couple with children do this before. And what I think they found, as well as what we found, is that we were just as normal as anybody else. As a couple, as a family, that we were just like any other family in South Burlington, suburbia,
I'm an example of why it's not wrong for children to be raised in a lesbian or gay household. That the argument is that if a child is raised in a gay or lesbian household, they're going to grow up to be a gay or lesbian, or they're going to grow up to be corrupt. And I'm a heterosexual, and I don't believe I'm corrupt. And I've had a really healthy childhood and happy childhood, so it's been great. And, I feel good. I feel good about how I've grown up, definitely. I'm just as happy if not happier than a lot of my friends who have grown up with a mom and a dad, and that I feel very comfortable with my parents and have a great deal of respect for them.
We act as a couple, I think. We have a home together. We have a business together. We have joint decisions.
I think also we provide each other with moral support. We back each other up. Our finances are totally intermingled by now.
I think that people don't realize that gay people are everywhere, and a lot of people that they assume are straight are not.
I think that's where the largest part of the misunderstanding lies. I think people who don't know gay people are not close to gay people, and people who maybe are afraid of gay people actually don't understand that Marshall and I love each other. I can't imagine how he could put up with me for 10 years without it being true love. Yes?
Yeah. Robert and I have made a commitment to each other and have worked on our relationship to create our life together. And there's a part of me wants that to be recognized by the larger society, which I am a part of.
We love each other, and I don't think that's the only thing. I think it's values. I think we have similar values about life and how we live our life and how we relate to one another in the world and what we want for our children. There's a certain amount of how we're, raising Alyssa and the conversations we have about what if this happens with her or that happens with her, or what if we're confronted with, discrimination in any, whether it's through actions or words. We have a certain amount of those conversations, but there's just the day-to-day kinds of things that we agree on. It's like eating dinner. So we sit every day, we sit down as a family to eat dinner. It's just important that Alyssa and Jillian grow up and understand spirituality and things, and we believe in God.
And we have a very blessed life. I mean, we're healthy. We found, we ended up in a good, solid, loving relationship. We have had 2 healthy, great kids, and we've got, I'll tell you, we really have very, 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 very blessed lives. And, we're quite lucky. We really are. So. I don't know.
You stop and wonder why there's a perception of us as perpetually single. That there are institutional pictures that get painted of us, that's who we are, and even when we're in a long-term committed relationship, we're still considered single.
Many lesbian and gay people make lifelong commitments to each other, but lesbian and gay couples don't have access to the legal protections of civil marriage. Some gays and lesbians have ceremonies to publicly demonstrate their commitment to each other, but these ceremonies mean nothing in the eyes of the law.
We have the same committed responsibilities. The only thing we do not have is a legal document saying that we're legally responsible. Morally, we're responsible to each other as well as anybody. Okay, I've worked for this company for 18 years, and I've paid in pension. And if I were to die tomorrow, Susie would never get my pension. She wouldn't get my Social Security. She wouldn't, because we're not married.
Chuck and I were together 13 years. If he were to become ill and have to be in the emergency room or wherever, and only immediate family were allowed, and I wouldn't be allowed to go in, no one knows him better than I do. None of his family do. I know what his wishes are, and I'd want to be the one to make any decisions that would have to be made. And at the very least, I want to be the one who can go in and visit him to see how he's doing, and they can deny me that right. And that, to me, is a big concern.
If our relationship could have been legitimized legally, I could have been on Ellen's health insurance and stuff like that, and I had a major injury in January of '91. that put me in the hospital and cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that we've just recently finished paying off because I was not covered at all by health insurance.
Another example is of something that's different for us is finally, because UVM is University of Vermont has passed domestic partner benefits, I am now able to be on Brian's insurance policy, and that's great. The difference is that we have to pay income tax on that benefit that heterosexual couples don't have to pay. Simply because they're married, they don't have to pay that.
We put the addition on the house. It used to just be the mortgage was in my name, and we refinanced and we added Carol to the deed, and we got charged a property transfer tax. It was something that would never have happened if we were married or if she was legally recognized family.
Social Security survivor benefits. If something should happen to me, and I've been the full-time worker, the major breadwinner.
In the last few years.
In the last few years, yeah. But in many ways, Lois has done as much to earn my Social Security as I have because she's provided things at home that have made it easier for me to work. But if something were to happen to me, she would not get those benefits now because we're not a married couple.
If I were to have a car accident and to go unconscious, and my family, if my family decided to become mean and ornery and they wanted to keep Marshall out of that hospital, unless we had the legal paperwork accomplished, they could do that. They could do that very easily, no matter how many years we had been together. That's a burden. That's not only a burden of finances and hiring lawyers and such. It's also a burden of the spirit. Why is it that this love is not recognized? Why is that?
Just a few decades ago, Virginia law stated, if any white person intermarry with a colored person, he shall be guilty of a felony. Fortunately, marriage has become more inclusive as our society has become more enlightened. Striking down the Virginia law, the United States Supreme Court said, under our Constitution, the freedom to marry a person of another race resides with the individual and cannot be infringed by the state. Marriage laws have changed through the years, and it's time for marriage to include same-gender couples.
What does it amount to? Except prejudice. That's the only thing that it amounts to that I can see.
This is just, it's a civil right. And then, there's this part of me, he's just angry. I just am so mad that my friends can't have the same rights as me. They can't, wear this wedding ring and have it legally mean that their rights are protected. It's just not fair.
I think people are confusing religious marriage with civil marriage.
We're not saying make a religious commitment acceptable to all. It's making the legal commitments and responsibilities available to all.
To limit marriage to heterosexual couples is bigotry. It's not even disguised bigotry. We certainly are in need of family units in our society. So the fact that we discourage gay and lesbian unions is really one form of really just denying ourselves a healthier environment.
I think all relationships prosper and benefit in that kind of a climate. In a climate that just says, we value people's connection to each other. And, and I think just the whole, when you look at the way we are in the world and the struggles we as a people have in the world, it's like it gets global for me. It's like we need to learn how to live well with each other. We need to learn how to take care of each other and embrace each other. And I feel like that's kind of the whole promise of this, that's the promise of our relationships. And I think that every relationship will be strengthened by this. It just completely baffles me when I hear this response that this will somehow undermine heterosexual relationships. It's like, how could it? I mean, how could it and why would it?
They tell us they want us to be committed, and then when we go and tell them we want to be committed legally, they say, oh, we can't do that. because you're not man and a woman. Well, can't have it both ways. You want us to be committed? Let us be committed. Let us get married.
In a few days, we'll have been married 46 years.
We have 3 sons, and the oldest is a gay man. Gay and lesbian couples lack the social supports that heterosexual couples have. And, you know, there's a lot of criticism about gay lifestyles and promiscuity, but I don't think that's any truer than it is for the heterosexual world, but there is lacking that support and community support that marriage offers. And I think that's tremendously important, and I'd like to have that. I'd like my son to have that.
Scott and I fell in love, and we love each other, and we're committed to each other. The personal message that I want to express is that you know, this is a gay couple who wants to get married.